I had just wrapped up a successful week in Chicago, closing a major marketing deal that would likely earn me a promotion. All I could think about was getting home to my wife Amanda and our 8-year-old twins Emily and Ethan. After a week of hotel rooms and business dinners, I was desperate for the comfort of family life. That is when my phone vibrated with a text from my brother Nathan. "Do not go home tonight." My heart dropped. I immediately texted back, "Why? What is wrong?" His response sent ice through my veins. "Just trust me and stay away." Before I tell you how a single text message destroyed the life I thought I had, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and subscribe if you have ever had your world turned upside down in an instant. Amanda and I had what most people would consider the perfect suburban life. Our 2-story colonial in a prestigious neighborhood featured a manicured lawn, a 2-car garage, and a backyard with a swing set for the twins. We had met at a mutual friend's wedding 10 years ago. I was the best man, she was a bridesmaid, and the chemistry was immediate. After our eyes locked across the dance floor, I spent the entire night talking to her, forgetting my duties to the groom. 2 months later, we were officially dating, and within a year, I had proposed on a beach in California at sunset. The early years of our marriage were devoted to building our careers and trying to start a family. Amanda worked as a pharmaceutical sales representative, while I climbed the corporate ladder at a marketing firm. We wanted children desperately, but month after month, pregnancy tests came back negative. After 2 years of trying naturally, we consulted fertility specialists who guided us through the emotionally draining process of IVF. The day we discovered Amanda was pregnant with twins was the happiest of our lives. We converted our home office into a nursery, painted it yellow since we wanted the genders to be a surprise, and spent weekends assembling furniture and debating names. When Emily and Ethan were born, Amanda took a year off work. When she returned, she switched to a part-time position to focus more on the twins. I compensated by pushing harder in my career, accepting the additional travel that came with senior positions. By the time the children were in 2nd grade, I was typically away 3 or 4 days every 2 weeks, pitching to clients across the country. Throughout these absences, my brother Nathan was our rock. 3 years younger than me and still single, he lived just 20 minutes away and adored his role as the fun uncle. He would come over for dinner twice a week, bring extravagant gifts for the twins on holidays, and most importantly, help Amanda with school pickups or emergencies when I was traveling. Nathan and I had always been close, from building tree houses as kids to being each other's wingmen in college. There was nobody I trusted more with my family's well-being. Looking back, I should have noticed the subtle changes in Amanda over the past 6 months. She had joined a new gym and became almost obsessive about fitness, scheduling sessions with a personal trainer 4 times a week. Her wardrobe gradually transformed from comfortable mom clothes to designer workout gear and stylish outfits. She cut her long brown hair into a modern bob and highlighted it blonde. When I complimented these changes, she would smile and say she was finally taking care of herself again. I was supportive, assuming this was her way of reclaiming her identity beyond motherhood. There were other signs too. She began going out more with new friends I had never met. Our intimacy dwindled, with Amanda often claiming fatigue or headaches. Text conversations became briefer, with longer gaps between responses when I was traveling. Occasionally, I would call in the evening and get her voicemail, only to have her text back an hour later saying she had been bathing the kids or helping with homework. Despite these red flags, I never seriously suspected anything. Amanda and I had built our relationship on trust. We had weathered the storm of infertility together, raised our children as a team, and supported each other through career changes and family crises. The possibility of betrayal simply never entered my mind. The Chicago business trip had gone exceptionally well. After months of pitching, I had finally convinced Alpine Resorts, a chain of luxury ski destinations, to sign a 2-year marketing contract worth millions. My boss had called to congratulate me personally, hinting at an executive position opening up later that year. I celebrated with colleagues over an expensive steak dinner, texting Amanda a selfie with my team, and receiving a thumbs-up emoji in return. Not quite the enthusiastic response I had hoped for, but I assumed she was busy with the kids. The next morning, I headed to O'Hare International Airport for my flight home. While waiting at the gate, I messaged Amanda that I would be landing around 4:30 and would take a taxi home to save her the airport trip. That is when my phone buzzed with Nathan's cryptic warning, "Do not go home tonight." My fingers hovered over the keyboard as I tried to make sense of his message. Was there a gas leak, a burglary? Had something happened to Amanda or the kids? My mind raced through worst-case scenarios as I quickly typed, "Why? What is wrong? Just trust me and stay away," came the immediate reply. "Is everyone okay? Are the kids all right?" I typed, my hands shaking slightly. "Everyone is physically fine. I will explain when I see you. Come to my place." I tried calling him, but he did not pick up. Instead, he sent another message, not over the phone. "I will show you when you get here." The boarding announcement came over the loudspeaker, but I barely registered it. As passengers lined up around me, I tried calling Amanda. The phone rang several times before going to voicemail. I left a casual message asking her to call me back, not wanting to alarm her if Nathan was overreacting to something minor. But deep down, a sense of dread had already taken root. Throughout the 3-hour flight, I cycled between rationalization and panic. Perhaps Nathan had discovered a surprise party Amanda was planning and was being overly dramatic. Maybe there was a plumbing issue making our house temporarily uninhabitable. But why would Amanda not answer her phone, and why would Nathan be so insistent that I stay away? By the time the plane touched down, I had decided to follow my brother's advice. Whatever was happening, Nathan had never steered me wrong before. I collected my luggage, rented a car at the airport, instead of taking a taxi, and drove directly to his house on the other side of town. The drive to Nathan's house was the longest 40 minutes of my life. I called Amanda twice more during the journey, but both attempts went straight to voicemail. I texted a casual message to the twins about bringing them souvenirs from Chicago and received no response from their tablets either. With each passing minute, my knuckles whitened on the steering wheel as scenarios multiplied in my mind. Nathan lived in a modern bachelor pad on the outskirts of town, a sleek one-bedroom condo with minimalist furnishings and state-of-the-art electronics. When I pulled into his visitor parking space, I spotted him watching for me through the blinds. He opened the door before I could knock, his expression grim. "Greg," he said, pulling me into a quick hug. His body felt tense, and he avoided meeting my eyes directly. "Come in." His living room was immaculate as always, but an unusual number of beer bottles cluttered the coffee table. Nathan was not typically a heavy drinker. He gestured for me to sit on the leather couch while he paced in front of his large flat-screen television. "What is going on?" I demanded, dropping my carry-on by the door. "You are scaring me, Nate." He ran a hand through his hair, a nervous habit from childhood. "I never wanted to be in this position, Greg. I never wanted to be the one to show you this." "Show me what? Just tell me what is happening." Nathan sank into the armchair opposite me. "Remember that break-in at the Petersons' place 2 months ago, while you were in Atlanta?" I nodded. "The Petersons lived 3 doors down from us. Burglars had cleaned out their electronics and jewelry while they were at a school function. Well, after that, I got worried about Amanda and the kids being alone when you travel," Nathan continued. "So I installed some security cameras at your place. The new kind that send alerts to your phone when they detect significant movement." I vaguely remembered Nathan mentioning something about improving our home security, but I had been distracted with work and left the details to him. "I set it up to send alerts to both our phones," he explained. "You probably ignore the notifications when you are traveling, but I always check them to make sure everything is okay." And I prompted, my mouth going dry. "This afternoon, I got an alert around 2 o'clock. I almost ignored it since it was during the day, but I had nothing better to do, so I checked the footage." Nathan paused, looking physically ill. "Greg, there was someone in your house. With Amanda." My first thought was surprisingly mundane. One of her gym friends. Or maybe a repairman. Nathan shook his head slowly. "Not exactly. It was intimate." The word hung in the air between us as its meaning sank in. I felt a cold wave wash over me, followed by a surge of denial. "That cannot be right. You must have misinterpreted something." "I wish I had," he said quietly. He picked up his phone from the coffee table. I recorded some of the footage. I thought you would need to see it for yourself or you would never believe me. Your kids are. Nathan paused, visibly struggling to continue. They are being exposed to things they should not be seeing, Greg. This guy is around them, too much, acting too familiar. The television screen came to life, showing the interior of my living room from a high angle. The timestamp in the corner showed 2:17 p.m., just a few hours earlier. Amanda entered the frame, laughing at something out of view. She looked radiant, wearing a form-fitting dress I did not recognize. A moment later, a man followed her into the room. My stomach clenched when I recognized him. James, the personal trainer Amanda had hired 6 months ago. Tall, muscular, with the kind of symmetrical features and perfect smile that belonged in fitness magazines. I had met him briefly several times when picking Amanda up from the gym, and he had always been professionally polite. There was nothing professional about the way he pulled my wife into his arms on the video. They kissed passionately, his hands roaming over her body with the familiarity of an established relationship. Amanda responded eagerly, working at the buttons of his shirt, while he backed her toward our couch, the same couch where our family watched movies together every weekend. The kids, I managed to ask, my voice barely audible. In their rooms upstairs, Nathan said grimly, playing video games with their headphones on. But they come downstairs later. He fast-forwarded the footage slightly, stopping at a point where James and Amanda were hastily readjusting their clothing. Moments later, my twins bounded into the frame, asking James something I could not hear. The man ruffled Ethan's hair affectionately and gave Emily a side hug, the casual intimacy making my blood boil. The four of them then disappeared from view, presumably heading to the kitchen. How long, I asked, my voice hollow. Nathan swiped through his phone. From what I can tell, at least 3 months. Maybe longer. He comes over almost every time you travel. Sometimes he stays overnight. He showed me more clips, James helping the twins with homework at the dining room table. James and Amanda cooking dinner together, dancing in the kitchen. James carrying a sleeping Emily upstairs to bed. Domestic scenes that should have been mine stolen by a stranger. There is more, Nathan said hesitantly. You need to see this too. The next clip showed Amanda and James sitting at the kitchen island speaking seriously. With the volume turned up, I could make out their words. When are you going to tell him? James asked, taking Amanda's hand. She sighed. After his Chicago trip. Once the Alpine contract is signed. He will be in a good mood. Then maybe it will make it easier. And you are sure about this? About us? Amanda nodded. I have never been more sure of anything. The kids already adore you. We will be so much happier once everything is in the open. James smiled, kissing her hand. I cannot wait to start our new life together. I felt physically ill, gripping the edge of the couch to steady myself. The room seemed to spin as 13 years of marriage collapsed around me. There is one more thing you need to see, Nathan said, his voice thick with anger. This is from last week. The final clip showed James sitting between my children on the living room floor playing a board game. Emily said something that made him laugh, and he pulled her into a playful hug. You are the best, Daddy James, she said clearly. Instead of correcting her, he beamed at the title. And, you are the best kiddo ever. I lurched up from the couch and barely made it to Nathan's bathroom before vomiting violently. When I emerged, pale and shaking, my brother was waiting with a glass of whiskey. She was going to leave me, I stated flatly, and try to take my children. Nathan nodded grimly. Based on their conversations, I think that was the plan. She has been talking to them about how fun it would be to live closer to James's gym by the lake. I downed the whiskey in one swallow, welcoming the burn. How could I have been so blind, so stupid? You trusted your wife, Nathan said simply. That does not make you stupid, it makes her a betrayer. That night, I slept fitfully on Nathan's couch, my dreams filled with images of Amanda and James laughing at my ignorance. By morning, shock had hardened into cold resolve. I would not allow them to dictate the terms of my family's destruction. My first call the next morning was to Michael Brennan, a lawyer friend who specialized in family law. While Nathan made coffee, I explained the situation in clinical terms as if discussing someone else's life. You have got the security footage, Michael asked after hearing the details. My brother has it all saved, I confirmed. Good. Do not confront her yet. We need to secure this evidence and develop a strategy first. Especially with children involved, we need to be careful. For the next several hours, Nathan and I transferred all relevant security footage to a secure cloud account Michael could access. We documented dates, times, and particularly damning conversations. Nathan also helped me install the security app on my own phone so I could access the cameras directly. While Nathan went to the gym, I watched hours of additional footage feeling increasingly nauseated. James had not just been sleeping with my wife. He had been living my life. He had been present for dinners, homework sessions, and bedtime routines. I watched him help Ethan with a science project that I had been too busy to assist with. I saw him cheering at Emily's soccer game that I had missed due to a client meeting. Most disturbing were the intimate family conversations where Amanda and James discussed me. Greg is so wrapped up in his work, he barely notices anything at home anymore, Amanda told him during one late-night kitchen conversation. Last month, Emily had a dance recital, and he was on his phone the entire time. The kids deserve better. James agreed. They deserve someone present. The irony was crushing. I had been working so hard to provide for my family that I had created the perfect opportunity for someone to replace me. But what truly broke my heart was seeing my children's easy affection with this man. They clearly enjoyed his attention and energy, things I had been rationing due to exhaustion and work pressure. By mid-afternoon, I had seen enough. Against Michael's advice, I decided to confront Amanda immediately. I could not bear another night of knowing they were together in my home playing family with my children. "Are you sure about this?" Nathan asked as I prepared to leave. The lawyer said to wait. "I cannot wait," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "I need to see her face when she realizes I know everything. And I need to see my kids." Nathan nodded in understanding. "Call me if you need backup. I can be there in 20 minutes. The drive to my house felt surreal, as if I was navigating someone else's neighborhood. Everything looked the same trees, the same mailboxes, the same kids riding bikes on the sidewalk. But nothing would ever be the same again. I parked in the driveway behind Amanda's SUV, and a blue Mustang I recognized as James's car. They were not even trying to be discreet anymore. Taking a deep breath, I used my key to enter my own home. The sound of laughter guided me to the kitchen, where I found a domestic scene that stopped me cold. Amanda was at the stove, stirring something, while James sat at the island, chopping vegetables. The twins were setting the table carefully, placing napkins beside each plate. Emily spotted me first. "Daddy," she squealed, running toward me with open arms. Ethan was close behind, both of them colliding with my legs in enthusiastic hugs. "You are home early," Emily exclaimed. "We did not expect you until later. I wanted to surprise you," I said, hugging them tightly while looking over their heads at Amanda and James. Amanda's face had drained of color, her wooden spoon frozen mid-stir. James stood awkwardly at the island knife, still in hand, looking like he was calculating the nearest exit. "Kids," I said gently, "can you go upstairs and play for a little while? I need to talk to Mommy and her friend." "But dinner is almost ready," Ethan protested. "Just for a few minutes," I insisted. "Go play that new video game Uncle Nathan got you." With reluctant nods, they trudged upstairs. I waited until I heard their bedroom door close before turning my attention to the adults. Amanda began, her voice artificially bright. "You should have called. We would have picked you up from the airport." "I think we are well past courtesy calls, do not you?" I replied coldly. James shifted awkwardly. "Maybe I should go." "No, please stay," I said, blocking the kitchen doorway. "Since you have been playing daddy to my children, you should be part of this conversation." Amanda's face hardened. "The kids are upstairs, Greg. This is not appropriate." "What is not appropriate is having your lover in our house while our children are home," I countered. "What is not appropriate is planning to leave your husband after he closes a major business deal. What is not appropriate is having my daughter call another man Daddy James's behind my back." Amanda's eyes widened. "How do you—" "The security cameras Nathan installed after the break-ins," I said. "They capture quite a lot, including some very interesting conversations about your plans for our family." James paled. "Amanda, you said your husband knew we were friends. You said you had discussed separation already." I laughed bitterly. Is that what she told you, that we were separating? That is news to me." Amanda's shock transformed into anger. "You were spying on me, in our home," I repeated. "The one I pay the mortgage on while you entertain your boyfriend. The home where our children should feel secure, not confused by mommy's special friend." James set down the knife and wiped his hands. "I should really go. This is between you two. You do not get to walk away from this," I said, stepping toward him. "You have been sleeping with my wife, playing father to my children, and planning to take over my life. You are very much part of this conversation." Amanda moved between us. "This is not how I wanted you to find out, Greg. But things have not been right between us for a long time. You are never here. The kids barely know you anymore. So rather than talking to me about it, rather than suggesting counseling or asking me to travel less, you decided the solution was to cheat." My voice rose, despite my effort to stay calm. "To betray our entire marriage, I tried talking to you," she snapped back. "Last year I asked you repeatedly to cut back on travel. You said your career was at a critical point. You chose your work over us every single time." Her words struck a nerve, but I pushed past the guilt. "And that justifies all this. The lies, using our children as pawns." James finally spoke up. "For what it is worth, I genuinely care about Emily and Ethan. I never meant to overstep." "But you did," I said coldly. "Asking them to call you daddy, that crossed every line." Amanda's eyes widened. "They called you that on their own." James looked away guiltily. "It just happened naturally. I did not want to correct them and make things awkward." I pulled out my phone and played the clip of James explicitly encouraging the Daddy James title. Amanda watched, her expression shifting from defiance to something more complicated. "I have already spoken to a lawyer," I said, putting my phone away. "I know my rights as their father, and I have hours of footage documenting your affair, including evidence that you planned to ambush me with a separation after my Chicago trip." Amanda's face hardened. "You cannot take my children from me." "I do not want to," I replied honestly. "Despite everything, they need their mother. But they also deserve stability and honesty, two things you have not been providing." "You cannot judge me," she hissed. "You have no idea what it has been like essentially raising them alone while you chase promotions and clients." "You are right," I conceded. "I have made mistakes. But I never broke our vows. I never brought another woman into our children's lives under false pretenses." James looked increasingly uncomfortable. "Amanda, maybe we should talk later. This is getting intense." "Leaving so soon?" I asked him. "Is it less fun when there are actual consequences to face?" Amanda glared at me. "Stop intimidating him. This is not his fault." "Did you tell him we were separated?" I asked directly. Before you started sleeping together, her silence was answer enough. James's expression confirmed that he had indeed been misled about the status of our marriage. "Wait," he said slowly. "You told me you and Greg had already discussed divorce, that you were just sorting out the details before telling the kids." Amanda flushed. "I was going to talk to him. The timing was never right." The realization dawned on James's face. "So I have been helping you cheat. That is not what you said, Amanda. That is not who I am." "Does it matter now?" she asked desperately. "We are together. Greg knows. We can move forward." James backed away from her. "It matters to me. I need to think about this." Without another word, he grabbed his jacket from a kitchen chair and walked out the front door, closing firmly behind him. Amanda and I stood in silence, the remnants of the family dinner they had been preparing spread across the countertops. "What happens now?" she finally asked, her voice small. "Now I said we tell our children that mommy and daddy need some time apart. And tomorrow I start looking for a place nearby so I can remain present in their lives while we sort out the legal details." Her eyes filled with tears. "I never meant to hurt you, Greg. I was just so lonely." I looked at her, the woman I had loved for 13 years, the mother of my children, now a stranger. "You should have told me that instead of replacing me." As I turned to go upstairs to see my children, the weight of what I had lost and what I still might lose pressed down on me like a physical force. But alongside the pain was a strange, unexpected sense of clarity. The family I thought I had was already gone. Now I had to build something new from the ruins. The next 6 months unfolded in a blur of lawyers, mediations, and difficult transitions. The night of the confrontation, I took the twins to stay with my parents, temporarily explaining in simple terms that Mommy and Daddy were having some adult problems and needed time to sort things out. Their little faces crumpled in confusion, asking questions I was not fully prepared to answer. "Is it because you are always working?" Ethan asked, his voice small. "Did we do something wrong?" Emily wondered, tears welling in her eyes. I gathered them both into a tight hug. "This is absolutely not your fault," I assured them. "Sometimes adults have problems that have nothing to do with their children. What will never change is how much we both love you." Within a week, I had rented a 2-bedroom apartment 15 minutes from our family home. I took a leave of absence from work, prioritizing stability for the twins over career advancement for the first time in years. The irony was not lost on me that I was finally giving them the time and attention Amanda had been asking for, but only after everything had fallen apart. James disappeared from the picture almost immediately after our confrontation. According to Nathan, who still kept tabs on the situation through mutual friends, James had broken things off with Amanda that same night, unwilling to be cast as the homewrecker once he understood the full truth. Amanda had been devastated by the double rejection, turning first to anger and then to tactical maneuvering. Her initial legal strategy was to portray me as an absent workaholic father who had neglected his family duties. Her lawyer sent threatening letters about pursuing full custody and maximum support, but her position weakened considerably when my lawyer presented the security footage evidence in family court. The judge was particularly troubled by the footage of James being encouraged to act as a father figure and the discussions about taking the children away from me. The turning point came 3 months into proceedings during a supervised exchange of the twins. Amanda pulled me aside, looking exhausted and defeated. "I miss them when they are with you," she admitted, watching them climb into my car. "Is this how you felt all those years when you were traveling?" The question caught me off guard. "Yes," I said honestly. "Every single time." She nodded slowly. "I think I understand you better now." She hesitated before adding, "I was wrong, Greg. About so many things. I should have talked to you instead of what I did." It was not a full apology, but it was a start. The next day, her lawyer called mine, proposing a more reasonable custody arrangement, shared physical custody with a flexible schedule that would allow me to reduce my travel while keeping my job. We sold the family home, neither of us wanting to live surrounded by those memories. Amanda used her portion to purchase a modest townhouse in the same school district. I found a 3-bedroom ranch-style home closer to my parents, and Nathan, who remained my strongest support system throughout the process. The twins adjusted better than I had feared. Their therapist, Dr. Karen Wilson, explained that children are remarkably resilient when given stability and honest communication appropriate to their age. We developed a routine where they spent weekdays with whichever parent lived closer to school that semester and alternated weekends. Both Amanda and I attended their school events, sitting separately but presenting a united front for their benefit. My relationship with work transformed as well. I negotiated a position that required minimal travel, even turning down the executive promotion I had been chasing for years. My boss was surprisingly understanding when I explained my situation. "The company will always be here," he told me. "Your children will only be young once." Nathan remained my closest confidant, the one person who had seen the truth when I was blind to it. One night, as we sat on my back deck watching the twins play in the yard, I finally asked the question that had been nagging at me. "Why did you check the security footage that day? You must have received dozens of alerts before." Nathan took a long drink of his beer. "Emily called me that morning. She was confused about something James had said about you not living with them soon. I had a bad feeling, so I checked. The revelation that my daughter had indirectly saved me from months or years more deception brought tears to my eyes. I owe you everything, Nate." He shook his head. "You would have done the same for me." 9 months after the separation, life had found a new rhythm. The divorce was finalized with terms that felt fair to both sides. Amanda and I had established a cordial co-parenting relationship focusing exclusively on the children's well-being. She had returned to full-time work and seemed to be finding her footing as a single mother. The twins flourished under the new arrangement. Emily joined a competitive soccer team that I helped coach on weekends. Ethan discovered a passion for science that I encouraged with weekend experiments and museum visits. I learned more about their personalities in those months than I had in years of distracted parenting. At one of Emily's soccer games, I met Melissa, a divorced mother whose daughter played on the same team. Our conversation began with sports statistics and gradually evolved to comparing notes on single parenthood. There was an easy comfort between us, but I approached the connection with caution, still healing from the wounds of betrayal. On the one-year anniversary of Nathan's warning text, I invited him over for dinner with the twins. After the children went to bed, we sat on the porch swing, reflecting on how much had changed. "Do you ever regret showing me the truth?" I asked him. "My life would have been easier if I had stayed ignorant." "Easier but hollow," he replied. "You deserve to know. The kids deserved better than what was happening." I nodded, watching the stars emerge in the evening sky. I thought losing my family would destroy me. Instead, it forced me to actually be present in a way I never was before. Sometimes the most painful revelations lead to the most necessary changes, Nathan observed. Looking back on that fateful text message now, I realize it was both an ending and a beginning. It shattered the illusion of the perfect family I thought I had, but it also freed me to build something more authentic. My relationship with my children is stronger than ever. My understanding of what truly matters has fundamentally shifted. The pain of betrayal never completely disappears, but it transforms into wisdom if you let it. I learned that presence matters more than provision, that difficult truths are better than comfortable lies, and that sometimes you must lose what you thought you had to find what you truly need. Has someone's warning ever changed the course of your life? Have you ever had to rebuild after betrayal? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to hear more real-life journeys, and share with someone who might be ignoring warning signs in their own life. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, sometimes the text message you do not want to receive is exactly the one you need to see. Your support means everything as we navigate these human experiences together.